Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Executive Director of New North Incorporated, Jerry Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor Schmidt. Great comments. City of Green Bay is on fire. Great redevelopments and developments throughout the city. Great job. First off, good morning, New North. One more time. Good morning, New North. Better. I've got a ton of stuff to relay this morning, so I'm going to jump right into it. First is we're going to give you a series of graphs, some data points to kind of set the stage for the talent conversations that we hope will be going on all day. First up is a graph on the talent count. These are employment numbers that we've been tracking since day one. You'll see that this is actually a quarterly a graph. It shows the seasonality in our workforce. But I want to draw your attention to the red line. The red line actually is the trend line that we're most focused on. If you look at the last data point, you don't have the comparison to pre-recession, but we're actually we've essentially recovered our job counts to the level pre-recession. The second graph is, again, we're looking at quarters here. The New North region has made really considerable improvement over the last 4 years in terms of average quarterly wages. The blue line is the New North, the red is Wisconsin, and the gray is the nation. Note the gap at the start of the graph and how wide that is, and how over time that margin of gap essentially shrinks. And even in the last quarter of 2015 that's shown up there, you can see that we've actually surpassed the state of Wisconsin in terms of average quarterly wages. Next graph, the unemployment numbers from 13 to 16 look really strong. These are actually the participation rate within the labor market is actually in the New North region and in the state of Wisconsin is quite strong. But this is kind of a double-edged graph in that it's wonderful to have really robust employment numbers, but this is also demonstrating or showing that we may be approaching a point where we're simply running out of available workforce. And I'm going to switch kind of tenor here. These are graphs that maybe portend some items that we should be a little bit concerned about. The three images up there are actually a time series from 2015 and projected out to 2035. Over time, the darker shading to blue shows a greater and greater share of those 65 plus. So the state is getting older, and if you look at the tier counties in the north and to the northeast, we're actually significantly older even than the balance of the state. This graph shows another image in terms of workforce that is a little bit alarming. You can see the population is basically on the right trajectory. Those folks that are retiring are basically staying in the state. What's alarming is the workforce number. The date point on that 2010 is actually at that point where the workforce numbers start to go flat. Obviously, this isn't a sustainable trend or projection. This last graph or image that I'm going to show you is a net migration of those in the workforce, college educated or educated, and roughly the younger population entering the workforce. The lighter shade regions or states show roughly a 2 to 4% negative net migration. As you can see, the migration is to the coast, the south, to the southeast. Those are 2 to 4% negative numbers. They're not alarming, but they are certainly trend numbers that we should pay attention to. So in sum, I've shown you the demographic realities that we face in the region. I've also shown you that we have a pretty healthy economy. It's continuing to create and contribute jobs. Soon, it'll be charged with replacing some of the workers that are going into retirement. Our collective challenge here today is to determine how to strategically meet the talent demand to sustain and grow this regional economy. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here, and now run into a little bit of a background for the New North organization and region itself. For New North Summit attendees in the audience who are new, and even for the seasoned veterans, I'm going to run through a quick update of our core work programs. Our work is segmented into 3 major categories: business development, marketing, and talent development. All this work is oriented to strategies that are based on regional or sub-regional scale. Most important, the work teams behind the work programs for each of those categories use a collaborative approach to getting that work done. Collaboration is absolutely our core value. Visually, this graph shows the extent of the region's collaborators. In this whole region, that is a very, very significant dynamic. Again, this orientation is to collaboration. It enables all of our work. So let me work through each of the strategic categories and their attending work programs. That work that is behind our work program requires everyone in the room to participate. This is huge work. Nobody owns this independently. Frankly, we all own this work. So the first subcategory is the business development ring. A steady boom, or a steady trend, I guess, in the economy helped to increase our project activity throughout the region this past year. As either a coordinator or a collaborator, our prospect protocol successfully responded as a region to half of these projects. I'd note that in the early days of New North, when we responded to these projects, our turnaround time was 14 days. These projects engage hundreds of community partners, local economic developers, utility experts, municipal leaders, property owners, data retrieval supported by the WDC, the New North board members, and many more. Big number. The WDC is a huge and critical partner to development activity throughout the region. This figure represents all of the project commitments, community investment, and capacity building underwriting by the WDC in the New North region this past year. So it's a monster number, and we thank you very much. Great WDC team working in the New North region. Now let's look at a sample of projects from throughout the region. I'm going to warn you, you got to put your speed reading goggles on because we're going to go through this very, very fast. From incubators, incubator space, housing projects, public works projects, commercial and industrial projects. There's significant diversity in the range of project activity that's going on in the New North region at a very local transactional level. Most people, when they think of economic development, think of that in terms of transactions. You can see by the litany or the list of the projects that we're running through that there's significant diversity in the investment and community commitment. I think it's important to thank the municipal leadership, developers at the local level, contractors, engineers, and businesses who make these projects possible, the ones that bring these projects to life. So in total, those numbers incrementally, now remember, this is only a sample of the project activity throughout the region this past year. It's way significant. This is economic development at the ground level, at the street level. Next project is the site certification project called Gold Shovel. This New North initiative is designed to pre-qualify development sites by compiling site-specific information ahead of a call by a project developer or site selector. We're beta testing this process for the program right now with the intent to roll this out fully in 2017. Our supply chain initiative was actually introduced last year at this time. We basically built out and focused on developing and building out the scale for an online, very robust directory with firms that are identifying their profiles and capacities to serve multiple target market opportunities. We're now working directly with the Midwest Energy Research Consortium with the intent to go specifically after the energy supply, energy market space. Web traffic is very, very strong on the site. We actually have, at this point, 350 companies have their profiles in the directory. Our early wins, just a sample of some transactions. We had a defense contractor who reached out to us to do a search around a very unique manufacturing and fabrication process. A firm in Manitowoc responded to an RFP that was posted on the site and won that business. We had a Mid-East trade delegation that basically asked to use the directory to source some suppliers for an interest that they had that was coming into the Midwest. If you're not listed, Kathy said this earlier, but if you're not listed in that directory, I highly encourage you to go to the New North website and press on this, or see the folks out at the booth anytime during any of the network breaks. Ask questions, but I think that this is really the driver for a lot of strategy in New North going forward. At your place, you're going to see the brochure. You'll also see an upcoming event that you should take note of and hopefully participate in. New to this coming year is the introduction of the technical advisor for regional businesses who need direct support to enter or expand their international trade. Greg Miller recently assumed the role of export trade counselor for the New North region. We know from our efforts in trying to improve the export volume in New North that businesses need that kind of hands-on, one-on-one, follow-on, stay close to the process of going from a novice exporter to being a very capable exporter. This collaboration for this exporting project with Greg is collaboration is surrounding this effort. This is being led by the UW Small Business Development Center with additional funding and partner support from GoEDC, NewRep, New North, WMEP, the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh, along with key connections to the international division of the WEDC and DECA. This is a tremendous boost to helping regional firms navigate the process of expanding business opportunities outside of the U.S. On the entrepreneurial side, we're moving fast forward into a partnership with University of Wisconsin at Green Bay to host the program. Fast Forward in our terminology is a mentoring program that targets fast growth firms. These are firms that have a revenue stream that can scale to a level of $5 million in 5 years. The challenges facing fast growth firms are unique, where scaling requires sophisticated operations, systems, talent, typically higher risk credit capital. Currently, we have 15 mentors in the program. 4 companies are currently in the process. Each are working on 90-day work programs. One company actually is in the process, is under consideration by a venture firm for underwriting, and another is scheduled to pitch their business model to a group of venture capitalists this week. Version 4.0 is just underway. It involves a partnership with UWGB's new Coffran School of Business that will provide essential resources to build out the program's market presence and operations throughout the region. In all the categories, and even in the context of our collaborations, we're ever mindful of the New North brand, the value offered to the region and external marketplaces. This is a branding view of the strategic categories that I started our report on. We've been marketing and branding the New North region for 12 years. If you expand that scale, you'll see the logic of relating work to a coordinated branding strategy. Key here is to appreciate the strategies and work programs that are managed consistently to prove brand value for the region. All that brand value, all that brand conversation is really driving the brand value that this is a great place to do business. It's a great place to live and work. We also got our arms around promoting the region as a collaborative team, all using the same playbook. 2 years ago, we created a rolling calendar of outreach and promotional activities by anyone and everyone, New North, WDC, local economic developers, with the intent that we would actually then be able to begin to leverage each other, to participate, to partner, and anticipate the ability to participate as a group. Leverage each other, joint work. The outcomes for this particular effort include 3 FAM tours that were included this past year. One sponsored by the New North, one sponsored by the WDC, and one sponsored by the I-41 corridor communities, led by the regional partnership in the Valley. Of that, we basically got face time and real close face time with 10 critical key customers, a key trade partner or trade publication. One project referral came out of that, thousands of dollars of earned media. So we take a look at the earned media. We've actually built the capacity to generate more and more earned media, I think because we're just simply generating more and more confidence and program content that the media actually enjoys and runs with. Our total effort this last year resulted in about $190,000 of earned media, and that basically gets projected out to a circulation rate of over 2 million subscribers. Today's summit is specifically focused on this strategy. You'll see tons and tons of examples and hear great stories and best practices throughout today. This screenshot is of our website where we put our recruiting materials. This is a great place for you to connect, to link to, and to incorporate into your recruiting strategies. At your seats, you'll see a couple of handouts. These are actually directions for you to figure out how to connect with these new tools, these new recruiting tools. Following the success of the Manufacturing Alliance model and recognizing a repeating theme of labor gaps across all industry sectors has led to a new alliance initiative. The IT Alliance is a brand spanking new initiative. This initiative looks to redress the shortage of IT workers and to move to a regional strategy that solves the challenge of near and long-term IT shortages. Very, 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 very recently, the program director for the IT Alliance, Kim Iverson, has been hired to lead the organization forward. Kim is in the house, so if you see her, please encourage her, offer her support. These startups are hard, but I think that she's the right person for the work. Again, this follows the successful model of the Manufacturing Alliance and the Healthcare Alliances. The IT Talent Alliance has the support of business leadership from educators, both secondary and post-secondary, from organizations formed to promote STEM, innovation, and technology careers. The key to create a strategic alignment of regional resources to a shared purpose of growing a strong pipeline of IT talent. These are the charter member organizations. I encourage you to join them in their moving this alliance forward.